Hello guys, so basically I have desktop gaming computer that has a problem with the fan, and so it makes a large sounding noise of blades of sort of catching on the wire, for example. Very loud noise, and needs replacing, so we want to replace it with a cooling fan system. Also at the same time, I'm also going to upgrade this computer. Upgrade all parts of this computer. Well, everything except for the graphics card. So the fan and heatsink will be replaced with cooling system, water cooler, and new motherboard and new processor, and obviously therefore upgraded RAM. That's DDR3. I'm going to upgrade it with DDR4, and also an NVMe drive on the new board. So, what parts can I have? I'm going to have here. So, put in this processor, Ryzen 7 5000 series. So it's a 5000X3D, which is primarily made very suitable for gaming. Crucial solid state NVMe drive to go into the M2 slot on the motherboard. And this motherboard is going to form the basis, which is a B550 Gaming Plus made by MSI. Now fit this onto this new computer. Well, it's going to become a new computer at the end of it. Without further ado, let's get started. So to make this a success, I'm going to have to obviously remove the motherboard. So I'm going to do that off camera. Actually, there's going to be a lot of niggling between screws. Remove those out and take heatsink out, and then take the processor out and the RAM. Disconnect the motherboard from the power supply unit here, and then see what it takes. So I'm going to start doing that now. Okay, so what I've done here is I've actually put the motherboard in, the MSI MPG B550 Gaming Plus motherboard. I put that in now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I'm going to put the remainder of the cables in, and interface cables. So we've got the audio cable. That's going to, if you zoom in here, that's going to look very similar to the USB cable, and this will go. Look, if you look on your motherboard, you see something like J Audio 1. So you want to put that exactly where that is. So let's zoom in here. That will be over here on my board. So you want to, basically what you want to do is consult your manual. Actually, not even a manual these days. It's like a large folded up piece of paper. Read that, and they show you exactly where you want to put that. So plug that here. So he's going to go over here. So you got something like 9 pins. 10. It actually looks like 10 pins, but one's missing, which is supposed to be like that. That's normal. So you would plug that in there. And also, I'm going to plug in my USB. Which looks very similar. There we go. So I'm going to plug that into. Now on your USB, you've got something like USB 1, 2, and 3. So you've got a few of those. So normally you put that on the first one. So I'm just going to plug it in 2 actually. No, USB 1. You never found it. So that's going to go over here. This one over here, sorry. So plug that in there. make sure that the your power supply is turned off before you plug these in. Your computer's totally turned off. So that's plugged in. Now the power switch cables, I've already put those in. So where you've got power switch, you've got power LED plus and minus, and you've got reset switch and hard drive plus and minus. So normally those will go on what's called the JFP1 jumper port. Now again, that will always be in your manual. So you can zoom into that one. So those are in that one there. So that will always be on your manual. So you'll never get stuck because that will always be there. So that will show you exactly which, because you've got quite a few 4 things that you want to plug in there. These are made of like 4 separate leads, so it's a bit more difficult. So that will always tell you exactly pin by pin what goes where. So consult that for that. I've also plugged my power cable in, main motherboard power cable for my supply. Put my power, my AMD Ryzen 7 5800X3D. I put that CPU in there. Those are just thermal pads. I'm going to now put in the water cooler device. Plugged in I've used the device, I converted from 4 pin to 8 pin. Converted the CPU power. I'm now going to put in my RAM memory. Just before that, I've also plugged in here, as you can see, my USB lead, USB 3 cable. And that goes on a very, very wide sort of port. I'll try and take that out. I can't take it out. So it should be like a very wide sort of big port. I can't remember the name of it, but you should be able to link that on. If you look at your manual again, and if you're grading, compare the original one, what that looks like, it should be exactly the same as your, obviously on the one you're replacing, the motherboard you're replacing. My CPU there, processor, and the way you put that in actually is, can you see on your processor you got like a gold marker on the corner. That gold marker will always go. That will always point only one corner. So if you follow that gold little marker on your CPU, that will go where it marks on your motherboard CPU1, or like a white round circle. You can just about see that. Yeah, you can just about see that there. So that will always tell you where that will go there. And then you've got your clamp to press it in. Make sure you be very, very careful when you're placing your CPU in, because it's very the pins are very, very, very delicate. One broken pin will always make it sort of dysfunctional. I'm going to put in my RAM memory now. On here it says, RAM memory tells me here, it says right, it's marks on there. It says 2 and 1 and 1. So my 1 and 1 on here is dim 1, dim 2, dim 1, dim A1, dim A2, dim B1, and dim B2. So they're in pairs. So it says here the first ones are dim A2, dim B2. So that would be like this. So follow that correctly. Always have the memory from the outside and not the chips itself. The chips are actually exposed. So here I've got a protector actually. This is, I'm using Fury, Kingston Fury. They're protected, the memory banks are actually protected. So I'm alright in this situation, and follow where the pins match here. As you can see, the slots are divided into 2, so that will go like this. it, and press it very firmly until it clamps into place. The clamps click into place, yeah. And then the second one here. The exact same. Press it into place till it clamps through into it, like that. That's done. The RAM memory done now, and now what we're going to do is put in the connect to the SSD drive. Actually, the SSD drive is already put in. We're going to plug in the SATA lead. So SATA leads down here, and I'm going to plug that into. Can you see these SATA ports on the board there? Plug that into, presume any one of those. It should be all right. So if it's not, then we can sort that out later. So plug that into this one here. Actually, make that a bit more convenient. The hardest part about putting the PC together is putting everything in position and wires, making easy access and throughput of the wires into the through the gaps and into the correct position. That's by far the hardest part. Connect, what goes what isn't difficult. So that's connecting to one of them there. And next I want to put in the solid state drive. Solid state drive here. Some crucial 1 terabyte NVMe drive. That's going to go straight into the M.2 port, which is going to be here. So let's go ahead and put that in now. And give us a little screw there as well. So now the way you do that, so you split into two there. The pins, you've got like a very small section here, and you've got a large section. So follow that correctly in the actual expansion slot here, the M.2 slot. So if I place that like so, very, very easy. You've actually got two here, so I may as well just put it in this one over here. I've just spotted two. So I'm just going to put it in this one with the cover. Got a cover over here. Usually you find one with a cover and a secondary one. So I'm just going to put that where the this one over here, which makes sense. So if I find my screwdriver and then take that out. Hold this out, it doesn't fall. Now some motherboards you get a cover on both of those, but depends which motherboard you get. So yeah, that's right. So now we're going to, so we've revolved the slot now, and it's exactly the same as the second one down here. So yeah, we're going to push that into place there. That's done. That should stay like that. And now we're going to put the screw on that one now. That's it. I'm going to screw that down into the crucial P3 Plus NVMe drive. Now we're going to, when you get these covers, you see like, see say lighting gen and dot 2, it will have like a thermal pad covered with a plastic tape. You just take that tape off. I suppose it's designed to cool it down, which doesn't really need it, I would have thought, really, if you think about it. But so now putting this back in now. And screw it on that side. Don't screw it too tightly, it's unnecessary really. Yeah, and that's all done now, more or less. So now I'm just going to I'm gonna try and turn it on and post this system without putting on the display, and see if it's going to give us any error messages. So on most motherboards now you get what's called kind of, it posts within the board itself, and any problems it lights up on a 4-point LED system. I call it the error system here. So you can see that over here. So now what I'm going to do is I'll put the water cooler system on over the CPU and screw it at the top. I'm going to put in screw it at the top first and then show you how I've done it. Right, so this is the cooling system we're going to install, which is a ZIRCON 240 cooling system, 2-fan cooling system. So you've got the cooling heatsink here, got the cooling system there, the grills, fan, radiator, whatever you're going to call it, Oversteel component there, and you've got the 2 fans we're going to install now. So I'm going to get those out and I'm going to screw them in, and I'm going to show you at the end what it looks like at the end of it. Okay, so I've screwed in the water cooler system and the what I call the radiator part of it. I've screwed all those in. As you can see, the screws, 2, 4, 6, 8 screws, and so I fixed that in a position where I thought would fit. Wouldn't be in the way of other components and fans on the top of the case. So, and as you can see over here now, the top of the water cooler, I've screwed the fans in there. Can zoom in. Yeah, Oversteel fans, the logo. Screwed them in here. 4 large screws in each one. That goes screws right into the water cooler here, and obviously I've installed. I've installed this onto an AMD processor. This heatsink here can actually fit not only AMD but also Intel processors. The way you install it into the board onto the chip itself, onto the brackets, is different on each. So the package comes with brackets and screws whether you're installing an Intel or AMD, so don't worry about that. That's why it's a very great and versatile water cooler system. 2-fan system. You can also get a single fan as well. So that's that. And also, obviously, you gotta once you've put those screws in, you've also got to connect the power cable to the motherboard, to the system fan, CPU fan. And that goes right at the top there, obviously, wherever it is on your motherboard. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take off the heatsink, and I'm going to apply, because I put my own padding on there, thermal padding, but I'm going to actually apply the thermal paste that's come with the board. As you can see here, gives you a bit of thermal paste. Sorry, that came with the ZIRCON watercooler system. So I'm going to try and put all of that on the processor, as you see, and it's great because it gives you measured exactly to the quantity that you need to put on your processor, so you know whether you put too much or too little. There's no way of doing that because it's gives you the correct amount. So there you go. I've put that on. I think it needs a little bit more, to be honest. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. Let me just go and get the rest amount. So it's always handy to have some spare thermal paste in your jar. So I'm just going to add a little bit more there. There we go. Right, now, so that's good now. So what I'm going to do is go back and reconnect this. So what I've done, the brackets actually came off, so I'm just going to add the bracket back on to one side. And there we go. There we go, let's add the bracket and the screw. Okay, so let's install this back on now. So hook both brackets, hook both hooks, metal hooks like that on either side of your bracket, on either bracket, depending on what sort of, if you've got an AMD board, that is. This Intel is going to be a bit different, but again, it comes with all sorts of tools that you would require in order to successfully install this system. There you go, so it's in now, so I'm just going to tighten the screws. So we got this out of the way. I'm going to tighten the screws now. There you go, that's in. Right, so that's that done now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try to tidy up the cabling a little bit. So I'm going to now when you there's many things to do when you setting up and installing your computer. It's not just adding the parts together. It's putting your computer together in the right order. And then what's to do first, which can be quite difficult to plan because you just don't know what sort of challenges you might arise when you're fixing up the computer like this. So for example, I put the cables in. All I was thinking about is putting the cables in the ports and which best you know, obviously a rough estimate as to where to pull the cables in to from which slots, from which holes. But obviously, I'm putting it all in now. A bird's eye view. You can see that it can be done a little bit better. So, example, this audio cable here. That I can take that out and I can put that through, take it out the back, and I can put that through under here. For example, I've got a hole under here. I can put it in. So I'm going to attempt to do that now. Actually, if I untangle it from the back. So there you go. This is a USB connector, so I'm going to put it in there. There it is. I found the hole at the bottom, so there we go. That looks a lot tidier now. And even the power switch. See the cables coming in from this hole there, and I can put it in. I can actually put them in underneath here. Okay, so as you can off camera, I just put these the rest of those cables in the GFP1 cables of the jumper cables. I've put those in off camera. As you can see now, I've moved away all the cables on the slack on this side, and it seems to be appears to be a lot more tidier now, as you can see for yourself. So it's about architecture. That's what you want to think about when you're putting a board together. It's not difficult on you know, putting your hard drive in, your RAM, your board and things like that. It's putting it all together that looks in a very neat and tidy you know, appeal. You want appeal basically. It looks nice and tidy, that's pleasing to your eye. Basically, I've ordered a few more things. I'm gonna put a bend right angled board to power connector, 24 pin power connector. I've ordered one of those, and I'm going to put that over here. I'm going to show you when I've done that. So that's to make it a little bit better. So you don't have the you know, the power lead coming in like this and then bending, you know, a full halfway. So that's going to come in later on today, and then to give back to the customer. But I'm going to put the graphics card in now. This is already on the computer before it was upgraded, so I've not upgraded the graphics card. Currently, it's a GeForce GTX 4GB DDR. Yeah, DDR6 I think, but it's a GTX 1650. So plug that into the PCI slot there. So now basically I'm using my, I'm going to move away from my SSD drive and now going to use my NVMe drive. So because of that, I want to therefore utilize the system and Windows from the faster drive. So I'm going to have to clone my SSD drive and transfer that to my new drive. So to do that, for example, you're going to have to, when I put my drive in, NVMe drive in, I spent a while trying to figure out why the computer was not recognizing my NVMe drive. So come to the conclusion that I decided to download the driver. So mine is a Crucial P3 Plus, 1TB. So I went over to the crucial.com website and then downloaded the driver. And on there is a cloning tool as well. So it allowed me somewhere I managed to get hold of the cloning tool from the user manual. So I'm trying to find the user manual now. Yes, so if you download the if you head over to the model of your drive, so mine's a Crucial drive, P3 Plus, and so here's a user manual for that my specific drive. So I scrolled down here and I went to drive clone, a link to drive cloning your drive. Here it is. So part 3 copy, downloading the cloning software. Here's the link. So I clicked on that, and that brought me to this page. I clicked on the download now green button here, and then what that will do is that attempt to download the application. On account of that, I've already done that, and then obviously once that's finished, you then click on the executable file. There's about 689 megabytes, quite big. So then that brought me here, and then once you click on the executable, then it would install it for you. Click on the various next yeses until it's installed, and then you go into select your source drive, which will be your SSD drive, your C drive, and then the destination drive will be your your new NVMe drive. Another thing I've got to mention is that once you've downloaded the driver and installed the drive, and they see it within the device manager. So device manager here, click on open, go to disk drives, and that's my drive there, and then that confirms that my drive is being read by the system. Now, but one more thing you got to do though, for your computer to disk management to read up on your drive, you've got to go to create and disk part management, or type in disk management in the search menu here, and then wait for that to load up. So what you've got to do is select your, so basically yours will be disk 1 actually, because I've converted mine, created a volume of mine. So yours, you'll find in black an unallocated space on your drive and your disk. So it's usually disk 1 at that point, and you want to right click and I've already done mine, so you won't see it here, but you want to right click on the black unallocated 931 gigabytes, right click on that and select new simple volume, and what that will do is format your drive and create a new space on your drive, so that your Windows Explorer will then read your drive, and then you'll see new simple volume on here, and that's when your computer is then fully able to utilize the volume and do whatever you want and clone your drive from that point. That's when you want to download the cloning software by Acronis. So yeah, so then once all that's done, you've selected the source drive and your destination drive, which is your new NVMe drive. You then go to, so I've done that now, so I want to click on next now. Select the target disk below. This is the destination disk, so the destination disk is going to be your new NVMe drive, which is the top one selected in blue here. So I'm going to now click on next. Be warned, deletion of all partitions on the destination drive will be deleted. So bear that in mind. So once you're okay with that, then select OK, and Acronis Image will attempt to perform our requested operation. I've no idea how long this takes. This is the first time I've done this myself. We'll select to replace. Now select the required cloning method to replace a disk. Clone with clone with bootable OS to replace a disk on the machine. To use on another machine. Yeah, so basically I upgraded my computer so it's like another machine. So to use on another machine. No, actually I'm going to select the top one to replace a disk on this machine. Yeah, that's right. Let's do that, click next. Okay, so here it says before, yeah, 931 gigabytes, after be 900, yeah, all the green bit highlighted there. It's going to be the solid green will be the new data. Select proceed, and yeah, locking partition now. It's going to perform the operation. Get ready to perform the requested partition. So you can see that it's actually running in the background here. 0% complete. I would estimate this to take a while, so I'll let you know how long I will pause video and I will let you know how long it took, and I shall return. Thank you. Okay, so basically it's saying it's finished successfully. It took about 20-25 minutes, so not too long at all, and that's transferring a 267 gigabyte partition onto my 1 terabyte NVMe drive. So the disk was successfully cloned. Turn off the computer, remove the source drive, and put clone drive in place of the source drive. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I've just turned my computer off, and here's my clone drive NVMe. So I'm just going to turn that off, turn it to 0 on the power supply, and I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to put that into my into my main M.2 slot. There we go, it feels like it's in. And I'm going to disconnect my source disk. There we go, just to make sure that I know it's the right one. It's been successfully booted up from the clone drive, because obviously we all know that both drives contain the exact same data, so there's no other way of knowing. Or you could even do it in the BIOS, but I'm just gonna, for quickness, do it this way. Go ahead and turn my computer on. There you go. So here we are. Looks like it's successfully booting up my computer from the clone drive. There we go. Successfully completed. Amazing. So we all know that the cloning technique has worked. So if you try that through the details followed in this video, in this part of the video, then I'm sure all will be well, being that you followed the steps put out on this video. Thank you so much. So now what I'm going to do is click on to, I'm going to try and update the latest updates. So go to settings and update and security, and check for updates. I'm also at the same time going to look at the Windows Explorer, see what looks different here. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, you can see here the clone drive is 930 gigabytes. The source one was quarter of the time smaller. So the optional updates will always, that's very, very important. I don't know why it's set as optional, but they are drivers. That's where the drivers come through. So make sure you click on that. Do not ignore it. So you've got Intel 7 series chipset family, and I don't know why it's asking for that, because it's an AMD board. So I'm just gonna go back actually and check for updates. Try it again. Okay, so it's finished that. Let's go to view optional updates, driver updates. Yeah, so it's probably the chipsets Intel 7 series. So click on select all those, download and install. And then once those are finished, then it would, you know, it's very, very quick, these ones. Well, lightning fast. Check for updates. Now I'm going to install the Windows security bits of software. And we are up to date with the Windows update. So that's finished for that. Okay, so I'm going to upgrade the this part here, as mentioned before. Put a 90-degree angle, right-angled, lit up component that would tidy this cable here, as mentioned before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect that cable to this board here that lights up all the fans, system fans. All this system fans are RGB, they're all RGB operated, and connects to this board, PCB board here, that lights them all up. So that's exactly where I'm going to plug that right-angled 24-pin converter to, right here. So there it is. That's where I connected that converter right here. Sorry, the RGB right-angled lit up converter into this one here, so it will light up now. This is what we're looking at here. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove the power cable, 24-pin power cable lead. Tuck it in the back there. to add to it, I'm going to try this extension, braided extension. Make it look nice and fancy. That goes the other way, so there you go, that fits nice. It's quite big, this actually. Actually, I'm trying to do it from the back. Trying to do it from the back. There you go, fit that one in now. Connected it to this. Connect that to this right angle connector. And where you go, connecting it into here. Ultimately into the motherboard. Always has to go back into the motherboard, obviously, otherwise it'll never work. And there we have it, the irresistible looking desktop PC, rainbow lights everywhere, with the improved thermal paste inside there. Now it's not overheating. Just a lovely system. As you can see, this RGB converter here looks really nice. Hidden the original power cable leads in the back, so it looks really nice. Hope you really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching.